Warning: the following audio may contain coarse language and other materials that may not be suitable for a younger audience. The opinions expressed in this audio are solely those of the speakers involved. These conversations may contain spoilers for current media such as games, comics, movies, television shows, and more. Geeks makes no claim to ownership of the various media discussed, simply the opinions expressed. Listener discretion is advised.
Yeah.
All right. What's going on, people? Welcome. We are Grown A Geeks. This is Weigh In Wednesday. You are awesome.
That's right.
For being here. What's going on, man?
What's good?
Another day in the world.
I'm telling you, man. Living, chilling.
Not good.
It's about to
Sales for the Flash.
Ooh.
You know, I think I want to talk about Flash. It doesn't even have to be spoiler because it ain't like
let's talk about it.
Look,
it's just so much about this movie. What's up?
Not Sam. I told my homegirl Christina that did the therapy episode of Flash that we would have her on after it comes out on Max because she said she's not going to see it in theaters. So
but you know what? That's part of the discussion.
Yeah,
that is actually a legitimate part of the discussion because let's just jump right into that.
Let's.
It is
God.
Now you didn't even do your awesome for being here thing.
He did.
You did?
Yeah. See, you was lost in the sauce,
into your paint right there. It's all good. But no, like that's how we do the open. You are awesome for being here.
Yeah,
like most definitely.
He had it.
My bad.
No, I mean it's like, man, this movie is I partly feel bad for James Gunn, but then at the same time, I don't, because everybody's like, "Oh, this is supposed to reset." Like, this is the last movie. Actually, not even the last movie, because hey, what's up, man? What's going on? Oh, that's the homie, Josh. What's up, man? That's the homie. Like back in the day, that's one of the old school GameStop alumni right there.
Hey,
back in the day. What's going on, man? It's good to see for you, man. So, like, you still okay? So the rest of the movies that are coming out in the DCEU that are still part of the DCEU are going to be Blue Beetle and Aquaman. Yep. Those two movies still have to come out, and after those movies come out, we go into the full reset where we're going to have James Gunn's Superman Legacy, and with Superman Legacy, that gets into the official like DCEU or the DCU then, because it would no longer be the DCEU, it would be the DCU. I think at that time we will get to see something different. As it stands right now, we're still
in the shithole universe that Zack Snyder dumped us in.
Correct.
Period. Point blank. Like, for whatever reason, and whoever's to blame, I understand he was given an impossible task. Yes, the investors are to blame. But at the end of the day, you took the check, so you got to take the heat.
He really out here like sometimes you want $1 million, like
right. And it's like the thing that every fan has been saying. Okay, I get they weren't going to give you 10 movies to get to Justice League. but all you had to do was like nitpick
Wait.
a bunch of the cartoons episodes of how you could have just started Justice League like that and would have been like, all right, like we kind of get it. We don't know who Batman is, we don't know who Wonder Woman is, we don't know who the Superman is, and then maybe go backwards and you do team, then unveil individuals, almost like an X-Men type vibe.
Right.
But you didn't do that. You skipped steps, and you got to bear like even if they gave you an impossible task, it wasn't like it's not the Kobayashi Maru. You know what I'm saying? There was a way to do it.
Yeah.
So that's a Star Trek reference.
No, I know. And you know what? Look, I'm gonna have my Captain America moment. I understood that reference. And so, no, I mean, yeah, that's absolutely that is a portion of the problem. This movie by itself, Andy Machete, he's got issues in this movie that are of this movie. I watched it. Cast stones at me. It's all good. I did see it on theaters. I saw it Wednesday night. No, not Wednesday night. It had to be a Thursday because we did a show Wednesday. So I did see it Thursday night. I went to an 8:00 showing on Thursday, and there were a decent number of people in the theater. I've heard some reports, people talking how like they went and the theater was empty, wasn't nobody in there, stuff like that. And there's a lot of back and forth. There's a lot of people that I've spoken with. Both of you are examples. They're waiting for it to come to the streaming service, and the reason for that, the logic behind that, for anybody who doesn't fully understand, of course, it all comes down to like where the money is going.
Yeah,
and ultimately, there's some people who do not want to do anything that is going to be in support of Ezra Miller. And since it is the boycotting of his work, given that there's been no real backlash, given that there's been no real backlash on them,
they're still like they're an asshole, but they're still a person. We got to respect them pronouns.
Fair enough. And not to nitpick, I feel like at some point there was an article where he said he was comfortable in any case, but the ones that are
cover
most
bases.
commonly used are they. So
that's right.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with waiting for them, waiting for the movie to go to streaming, and it will probably do really well in streaming when it finally comes around. And there's, all in all, it's not a bad superhero movie. I don't know what reports were coming out. Those were obviously paid reports. Were like, it's the best superhero movie ever.
Clearly,
nah. Nah. It's okay even for DC, even by DC standards. It's just okay.
It's like, bro, Spider-Verse just came out.
Right.
Right.
Don't embarrass yourself.
But
ain't nobody looking for the Flash. We got Miles over here, bro. What's going on?
So here's the funny thing. There are, and I'll be very, very light in my review, even as a spoiler free, because I want to give everybody an opportunity to go in and see the movie just as is. Given that it'll probably get to streaming rather quick because it's going to get pulled from theaters shortly. It might
Impossible's going to come out.
You know what I'm saying? Like, is it going to make it the full 45
Barbie's
days?
going to come out.
And that's I can't even say that's sad, but like I'm definitely hyped about that Mission Impossible movie, like straight up.
Yeah.
My wife isn't even a Mission Impossible fan, and even she was looking at that like, and what movie is that? I was like, nah, we got to do a whole watch party because you gotta get caught up. So I'm okay with watching through. Like we did do it with Fast X. I'm like, you don't have to watch all of them. If you saw this one and that one, you kind of caught up. You know what's going on. But nah, you got to watch these Mission Impossibles just so I have an excuse to watch them again myself. DJ Fat Sack says it won't. says it won't get pulled from things. You think it's going to make it the full run before they? You think it's going to go 45 days before they bring it to streaming? I guess they kind of have to. Maybe there's some like whatever obligation
They're
that allowed
probably
it to,
they're
that
probably
still allowed it
contractually
to be in
obligated.
theaters.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's got to be something there with it. But I will say there are parts of the movie that the movie was definitely entertaining. But I think the flaw for the movie is they are pitted against a lot of other movies that have come out. Since people have watched the No Way Home, where they first talk about, you have the Spider-Verse, essentially, Into the Spider-Verse. You have Across the Spider-Verse. You have Multiverse of Madness. You have the other Far From Home. Far From Home. They first, because Mysterio talks about being from an alternate dimension and that whole bit, you know what I'm saying? And he talks about multiverse and stuff there. So there are parts of it that you have all these good examples. And so one more movie that deals with multiverse, you kind of have to like be right there with them and be on the same level.
Yeah. And so like, because this is kind of the feeling that I was getting going into it when I was like debating if I even wanted to watch The Flash, is that like, oh God, it's another multiverse movie. Like, and you can like you can hear my eyes roll in the back of my head from like 3 miles away because just God damn, how many more multiverse movies are we going to have? Because it always feels like the same thing, right? But then like you have those rare occasions where somebody comes and does something different, i.e. Across the Spider-Verse, and it just I don't know. And then just coupled the fact with Ezra Miller actually out here being a supervillain. I don't know if the Flash is gonna recover from that. But I can't make any criticisms of the movie itself because I haven't seen it yet. Just judging from what I've seen from trailers, I'm good. I can wait.
So here's the thing.
I was gonna say another added thing for me on top of all that. I just don't want to spend another $1 that's gonna make anybody think that I want to see more of this. Like I know we got James Gunn signed on. I know. But like you never know whether shareholders will come in and be like, well, Flash did make $7 billion, so like maybe it wasn't enough. And then we stuck with the same old BS. And then it's gonna be even more like janky because what Zack Snyder did was just kind of like it just felt like it was like mishmashed together.
Yeah.
And not like cohesively created. And when the investors get involved again, when they, they think people are supporting any of this stuff because, the internet makes it seem like everybody's out for like justice for Zack Snyder and he did so wrong. And it's just like, bruh, that's like most of the people who like are anti Zack Snyder are not like publicly voicing that shit every single day, arguing with a bunch of people who are. Yeah, it's like if you enjoyed it, cool. But if you can't understand why a lot of people just don't vibe with it, then you're not being like objective.
Right. You're not being realistic more than anything. And
it's like we all like stuff that sucks. But like you still gotta admit that like it sucks, but it charmed me in this way.
Right. Like you have to be willing to say, okay, it wasn't great, but I like it. As opposed to trying to somehow convince yourself that because you liked it, it was some cinematic excellence and everyone else is wrong for not liking it. It's okay to like stuff that's not great. That's perfectly acceptable. You know what I'm saying? And there was something I saw earlier. I was scrolling through something and it was like, everybody is entitled to their own opinion, but that does not mean you have to get on the internet and share that shit.
Right.
Sometimes that opinion doesn't have to come out. If you, because the first thing that comes to mind is like, there's going to be some people, and there have been some people who have gone on record as saying like, Ezra Miller is the greatest. No, so you can stop right there.
The greatest what? The greatest villain? Yeah.
No, I mean, like,
sure.
And then not even that, because you got my boy Jonathan Majors on
right around the
on the
corner.
Marvel side.
You know what I'm
Like
saying?
even
Right
Marvel
around.
doing that better.
Well,
Allegedly.
actually, a lot more stuff came out about that. It looks like my man wasn't as guilty as we thought.
Okay, Kane conquering.
And
Like what happened with that is that his lawyer, his legal team dropped the ball heavy. Is what happened because a bunch of texts came out and that boy is in the clear.
The one thing that stands out to me is, and this is just a me like a crazy hypothesis. I can't even call it a conspiracy theory. It hadn't even made it to that point. It's just a conspiracy hypothesis. I am loving that in a short time, Megan Good was already ready to be in court with this man, supporting this man. I just, it is just like
loyal.
That's what we go with. Okay, I was like,
maybe. I mean, that's definitely a word to describe it.
It might be an incomplete definition, but it's
man. I was like, and and I don't hold anything against Megan for it. You know what I'm saying? Like, shout out to her being hard, standing up, and you know what I'm saying. From that alone might be, that might be proof that Jonathan Majors ain't as bad as everyone wanted to make him out to be. The fact that she's,
a lot of people think she cuckoo cocoa puffs.
I've even seen some stuff that was like, this is the greatest role of her career. She's getting really paid for this acting, and I'm like, I don't even know that that's accurate. Like, we'll just have to wait and see how that goes. And
no, I don't think it's that. I think she's fully like for real invested in it, but it's just like.
Ooh, that's you know what, Brandy? That is a hell of a point. He might have been texting her.
That's what the new info.
Okay.
That's what the tea I heard was. I know it was gonna be this kind of show today.
I didn't either, but you know what? We're gonna let it be what it be. Yeah, that was now you know what? That puts a whole new spin on things.
You know it's crazy. Like America really is obsessed with just like crazy high profile court cases.
Oh yeah.
And it's really wild, like just how many court cases like I just knew intimate details about as a child growing up.
Yeah. Yeah. Like you honestly, there actually are a lot of court cases. Now that you mention that, yeah, there are a lot of different court cases that are super like high profile, and as a result, it makes it. That was before we had the internet was what it is today, and information was readily available. That was what was there. Like, you know what I'm saying? You'd be standing in the checkout line at the grocery store and you look over at the Star or whatever tabloid magazine was there, and they would keep you updated on stuff. And that was kind of crazy there. Yeah, I would definitely. Brandy says she just wants to get his career back. He's so good. I would agree with that. I was very happy with every Jonathan Majors role that I have seen to date.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where it's like I've really learned to like you can't judge too early because the court of public opinion holds so much weight these days, and folks be ready to cancel anybody and everybody over anything and everything. And it's like we really have to wait and learn to like let some stuff go to court, let people get, let them actually be guilty of some stuff or at least convicted of some stuff before we just like throw them to the wolves. And the preliminaries that I have
you don't have to have an opinion.
Right. You can wait and just get the facts.
That's the thing. They're like, so this just happened 5 minutes ago. What do you think? And what you think is
I don't have the detail. I don't know enough to formulate anything.
Right.
And that's kind of where I am with Jonathan Majors. You know what I'm saying? Like his court cases, I believe I read it'll go in August. And so, move forward, let it do what it do. And I do appreciate that Marvel has not immediately like abandoned it and done the automatic recasting and like he's been dropped from this, that, and the other.
Right.
Everybody that has actually backed away from him, that kind of sucks. That he's even had to kind of take the hit. But it's like, if more comes out and we find out that maybe he got some stuff he got to deal with it.
I'm glad. I'm glad he's not gonna be in them damn army commercials no more, man. I'm not feeling that. He looked too civil rights to be trying to sell me on that. Because I'm like, you need to be in the movie about how they came back and didn't get the GI Bill, not trying to get more people to sign up, brother. Like you playing the wrong role.
I mean, in some cases, when you were struggling actor starting out, maybe a check is a check. I'm just saying.
He wasn't struggling. These came out after Creed. This was in his height. It was literally like the army ads came out, and then the domestic violence thing happened 2 days later.
Okay, maybe it was maybe that's why I missed it. I'm like, I ain't seen that one.
Yeah.
Okay, that might be something different. Thinking he was one of the other ones. No, I think with not too civil rights. I think with the
I know what I mean. He be walking around with that cup.
Yeah.
All right, bro, we get it.
Yeah.
We get it, dog.
I think in the case of Ezra Miller, it would be absolutely acceptable for some different cuts in the movie to have taken place so that they could have set up an extra strategy. And it's not to say that they needed to go ahead and part ways and cut and this, that, and the other. Because, much like you said, Jeff, if this movie made $7 billion, I've seen a bunch of reports right now that said if the movie had done better, they already had a couple of things slated and lined up ready to go.
Yeah, he was going to be one of the ones they was going to try to bring over.
Well, not only that, there's some stuff. If the reports are to be believed, and this was not from we got this covered, but if the reports are to be believed,
pew pew pew.
If this movie had been successful, if they had at least hit the projections, they were ready to greenlight Michael Keaton in a Batman Beyond.
Oh hell no!
And the idea that they were basing the success of this movie as being that was going to be the determining factor if they were going to move forward. I think anybody who went to go see this movie probably went to go see this movie for Michael Keaton. Now it easily could have been just a spinoff, a separate, make it do something more standalone, as it doesn't necessarily have to be connected to this. Without going into too much detail, the way the movie was done, it absolutely would have worked for them to have a separation of sorts, and the Batman Beyond could have been a standalone, especially if you're bringing back Michael Keaton, who's 70 years old, playing the role of Batman out here fighting Kryptonians and stuff. So it's it definitely could have worked, and I think that would be one way to go. I've read something that Sasha Calle was supposed to be looking at a spinoff for Supergirl, and again, if the future possibility of any of that is hanging on whether or not this movie is successful, I don't really think that they were serious about doing any of these other projects. I think it's just something that sounds good to say, and they can be like, oh dang, you know what,
I'll be right back, guys.
Yep. We were like, hey, we were gonna do this, and we were gonna do that, and they had all these plans.
It's the same shit Zack Snyder doing now. He going his if they would have just let me, and it's like, bro, they let you. You came with a BS sorry story, and then it all came out about how you was treating all the black actors, and you cut the whole Cyborg story that actually made people understand why he was in the damn movie in the first place. Well,
that actually wasn't that was my understanding is that was actually what came out from the Joss Whedon bit. Zack Snyder was the one who had the whole Cyborg story. The point.
Screw him too. Yeah, he definitely trash.
Yeah, I mean, all of the WB execs are they're just, it's too many cooks in the kitchen. You know what I'm saying? And because of that, it's like you end up. Oh, what is he saying here? She was going to be the super person in the Justice League. I mean, that sounds like they were trying to take a page from the Arrowverse playbook. You know what I'm saying?
She was going to be the what? The super person in the Justice League.
If they had gone with the Batgirl setup.
Bruh. You want to talk about some tiki torches marching? If they would have did that, ain't no way.
Would have been too much diversity on screen.
The whole thing is you will not replace us. They're not about to let you come in and just make. You're not about to come in with just Superman. Like Supergirl is the plus one.
He got the invitation. She is definitely the plus one.
Yeah.
But and honestly, like I'm hopeful that when we get past the DCEU in its entirety, because I have to say, like, I can't even sit here and pretend like I'm just super excited about Aquaman.
Right.
I'm not at all.
Nah.
I am interested in this Blue Beetle.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's looking real good.
Definitely.
But it looks good because it looks sci-fi and it looks somewhat accurate. And
that feels like the first Shazam.
Right. Yeah.
We're just doing this fun thing. Join us on this ride. But then in the second Shazam, they came back trying to be like a real superhero movie and connect the stuff and
right.
It's like, bro,
not connect
the Rock, like we, bro, you're not saving the DCEU, Shazam. Just like let's have a good time and let's get out of here.
Right.
I mean, I think what really worked well in the Shazam movies was the interaction between the kids.
Yes.
As much as the believing that those kids turn into those adults, that feels very believable, and as a result, it allows you to like kind of stay with what is happening on screen. Because, and here we go again with Megan Good, Darla's character is more interesting as the little girl when she's like young Darla. She's a very interesting character there. And then, of course, when you see Darla go into her super form and we have Megan Good on screen, seeing her youthful glee and know that that's the same little girl from earlier, it kind of fits and it works. So the casting in that movie was great. And like I said, the interaction between everybody, because like the whole like, oh, it's a unicorn and it's a pony and she wants to ride that was youthful and fun. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like and that makes it enjoyable. You get to something like Black Adam that's trying so hard to be serious. The Rock is going to rock. He's going to do what he does. And although that should have been
more political.
Although that was a halfway decent vehicle for him, I think it was very polarizing in that he set the expectations way too high and did not deliver. And if he had just been like, oh, we're going to have some fun, this is a great movie, that maybe the gags would have landed a little bit better. The jokes would have been a little bit more acceptable. And we could have left the movie and been like, oh, that was actually a pretty good movie. I look forward to seeing The Rock back as Black Adam. By the end of that movie,
the problem is The Rock should not have been Black Adam to begin with. That's not the right role for him, in my opinion. Like,
and
he's
what character does the character even need to be? Is there a character that The Rock could be in a superhero franchise that works?
I don't know if The Rock is a good enough actor to make me think that he's somebody other than The Rock. Now, the thing is, I enjoy seeing The Rock on screen.
That is 100% accurate.
And so I don't say that as a diss because I enjoy seeing The Rock on screen. I grew up on The Rock. The Rock is a huge part of my sense of humor, my childhood, puberty, how I developed what I think is cool. The Rock is a big part of that for me.
I think The Rock is a fantastic character for Dwayne Johnson. And as a result of The Rock being such a great character, all we have to do is find vehicles to put The Rock in, and it works.
Yes.
And
Like
all of the
Fast and
movies he's had
Furious.
that have
Thank
been
you.
very successful have been just that, because The Rock is the character. Dwayne Johnson, when he goes home at night, probably doesn't raise that eyebrow all the time. That's some shit he does because he got famous for doing it as Rocky Maivia, The Rock in WWE. And because of that, I think we need the vehicles that he's been in. It has always been The Rock on screen. Hobbs is The Rock. Red Notice, that's The Rock.
And
Even
I
if we
think-
go all the way
see,
back
I
to
think
Scorpion King,
pairing him with, I think
That
his
was The
like
Rock.
comedies where he paired with like a Kevin Hart. I like those two working together a lot. And
oh, absolutely.
I just don't like when people get in their bag. Like this is the same issue I have with, like with Will Smith. Where it's like you just get to a point where you get in this bag of like, because you're never gonna win like an award for humor, you feel like people don't take you seriously when you do like humor and charisma acting. You know what I mean? So now you're trying to go for all these prestigious roles or bring gravitas to everything. And it's like,
Right.
bruh, if that's not you, like, it's not you. It's enough. Like, everybody does not have to be Daniel Day-Lewis. You can just, because to be completely honest with you, getting on in front of camera and delivering lines that don't sound like cardboard, period, point blank, is a very, very difficult task. Everybody thinks they can do it, and when that red light come on, the sticks go up the butt, and everybody gets stiff, and you separate the
be
mice from
hard.
the men. Yeah, and like the average person has not seen themselves on camera, like trying to act and be in a moment. The average person hasn't seen themselves like in a play, so it's easy to critique people who just get on camera and quote unquote be themselves. But there's a lot of people who, when they get on camera, they can't even be themselves because there's just something about the fact that people knowing that they're being recorded, it
They're
just
being
messes
watched.
with their
And now
mind.
and it's really like they have to be someone different when they're being watched, and this is going to be viewed, and all of that goes to their head. And I've seen it. I've seen how people get shook. Now, one of our avid movie watchers, who is a AMC Premiere Plus member, he go 3, 4, 5 times a week. I think he sees everything. So you know what I'm saying? We're gonna bring
Boy, out
DJ
here.
in. DJ here
That boy
checking
out
out
here.
all the movies.
You're
What's going on? What's going on, y'all?
Now
I don't go to the movie at 3 or 4 or 5 times a week. Only when there's 3 or 4 or 5 movies that came out that week.
So I don't do it unless the movies are there. Okay, that's
Like
that sounds
last
like you
week
do
was rare because
sounds like
you
it
had
happens. Though.
no
I mean,
don't happen
this
to
would have
other
been one of those.
I didn't step on Eddie Murphy's couch. What does that look like?
what Elemental, Flash, and The Blackening. That's it. That's why I was 3 this week. Last
Right,
week.
That was 3 this week. But I mean, honestly, if I had gone this week, I probably could have done like hell. And Transformers is at the theaters right now, so you could do Transformers, Spider-Verse, The Flash, The Blackening, Elementals. That's 5 movies you could go to the theater right now and watch. And I have seen Transformers, I have seen The Flash, and I've seen Spider-Verse. Elementals will probably be an at-home watch, as I don't have any kids to take as an excuse anymore. So it's like, if I want to see the animated stuff, I have to like go myself. And Elementals just doesn't. I went and saw Soul. You know what I'm saying? I saw Soul in the theaters.
I'll tell you like this: it was a good Father's Day movie, and they don't play it up in the marketing.
Okay,
Man, they don't never say a movie about father and son when they come out. Does the same thing with Tron Legacy.
right. So for this Flash movie, now remember we're gonna do spoiler free, so we're not gonna try to avoid talking specific points in the movie. If you could talk from a broad point, let's do that. But what was
rated 1 to 10?
If I have to give it a 1 to 10 rating, I'm gonna go 6.
I'm with him.
So, like, if you were going to rank the DCEU films what are the like two films you would place it in between?
Okay, so I will say the Flash movie. You know what? Let me just pull up a list of the DCEU films so I can be accurate with it.
I would say Man of Steel and Wonder Woman.
You put it in between. Okay, well, where the hell do you have Man
where
of
you
Steel and
have
Wonder
those
Woman?
two ranked?
Right. Wait a minute.
Because
Oh,
that's
hold
not
on.
like it's the second best.
Are you saying in between, like
movie.
the one before it is the best and the one under it is the worst?
Well, if we gave it I'm thinking of it from the standpoint, if I gave it a 6, it's better than what movies? But what movies
Okay.
are better than that? So that's why I was like, let me just pull up.
Okay, so
all
what
the
movies are better than that? Then
I
would have
just wanted to get a
say,
list of the movies that were in the DCEU as a whole. So I
would say Man of Steel. That's better than it. Man of Steel.
Agreed.
Wonder Woman, Aquaman, and James Gunn's just what you call it? Suicide Squad. That's it. Okay. Everything else is below it.
Okay. I could see that. I would probably still put I would put it after James Gunn's Suicide Squad, and I would probably follow it with Black Adam.
Yeah, that's
because Birds of Prey. I think I wanted Birds of Prey to be a lot better,
right?
Because I like the casting and I want more of that dynamic.
And that's the thing, man. Okay, I'll let you finish. Put a pin in the Birds of Prey.
Okay. We'll definitely touch on that. I like that casting and I want more of that dynamic, but I think that movie relied too much on, it wasn't able to separate itself enough.
I mean, you got to say the original name of the movie, and that tells you everything.
Birds of Prey or the Emancipation of Harley Quinn.
Yep, you got to say that first.
No, actually, I think the movie is called Birds of Prey Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn. Oh, so the movie, the main title is Birds of Prey.
Mouthful.
Right.
The main title is in fact Birds of Prey, but it's an entire movie wrapped around. So before I go see Flash, was it good? I was entertained.
I can say that too.
I was definitely entertained.
That's like saying, is she cute? She got a good personality.
Yeah, no. Exactly, and I'm not saying she got a good personality. I'm saying
that personalities don't matter.
I'm saying I mean, if she your type of chick, yeah, she cute. You know, that's I like DC. Right. I like comic book movies.
But it ain't Halle Berry.
Right, straight up. Like, ain't nobody gonna be fighting you for her. That's your date. You good. But I'll say this. I genuinely feel like anybody who knowingly wants to go see The Flash, you will enjoy it. Is it disappointing? There are things that they could have done better. And what's interesting is I use my wife as she's like the gauge for me on things like this, because I'm an uber geek and my wife is like a non-geek. You know what I'm saying? I'm fortunate that she stays with me and gives into a lot of my geek interests, because she ain't there on all of them. Now, she likes her Star Wars and she likes her cartoons, and we watch a lot of animated stuff, so that's cool. Cartoon Network and Adult Swim stay on in the house. But she could tell you all the cast from Archer, but she doesn't watch the show. But because I have it on all the time, she knows that she's familiar with it. She recognizes video games, that sort of thing. So if I'm a 10 geek, she's like a 2 geek. She was her exact words were she was entertained by the movie. Those are her exact words. And I was like, but did you like it? And she was like, you know what? It wasn't what I thought it was going to be. And discussed a little bit more. She gave some detail. And I was like, you know what? I absolutely understand how that would be a problem. And it's one of those things where, like, because she has seen Into the Spider-Verse, Across the Spider-Verse, No Way Home, Multiverse of Madness, because she's seen all of that, her expectations for what this movie was going to be were different. So when we were watching the movie and those things didn't happen, she was like, why didn't that happen? And I think that's going to be a problem for a lot of people that go see this movie. And I think that's one of the things that it's going to suffer from. There's a number of little things. If you go and you watch anybody else's reviews, almost everybody hits on the same couple of items. Not going to voice those just because, spoiler free. Want everybody to have a clean palate when they go in for their viewing. But I do hear a lot of similar concerns, and the concerns that I have, I feel like at some points people are just like, I'm not going to say nitpicking, because I mean, obviously it's a critique, so it's a valid concern to bring up. But at no point do I feel like a lot of the critiques were things that took me out of the movie. And for that reason, I can say I still enjoyed it. I was entertained by it. I liked the story that was on screen. I accepted everything. Jeff, as you would say, you were able to follow the story. You didn't have to have like a 55 issue backlog of comic knowledge to follow what was happening and why.
I agree with that, but I think the little BS stuff they did throughout, like, the DC movies, the older DC movies, it did help a little bit. Because I know a lot of people probably went in confused, like, why does he have a different costume or just different things? And when they started doing that time, like when he did the time travel and they start changing stuff, I know people was like, what the hell is this? That's probably where you got lost at.
Yeah. And honestly, even with that, they do every movie in the last 20 years. When did Back to the Future come out? Basically, every time travel movie that's come out since Back to the Future uses Back to the Future as the guide. Like, that's the playbook of how how time travel works. And it's funny to me because movies using a movie to explain time travel in their movie is kind of a meta joke that has been abused. And I think Flash did something very interesting in bringing that to light, and I applaud them for that. There were some things in this movie that were done really, really, really right. There were a few things that were done okay, and there was a couple things that was just done wrong. That's really what it comes down to. But I do feel like the good outweighed the bad. So overall, it was a passing. It was above the bar. Definitely doesn't fall into this is the worst thing. And it does. It is unfortunate because I do feel like this is a movie that could have been. It would have counted as being a successful DC movie had it not been for all the controversy surrounding it. And
because all the controversy surrounding it made everybody like wait, and then it just created this conversation of like, well, damn, how good is this movie if they're just willing to just like keep ignoring all this and sending him to rehab and hoping we'll forget? This must be like the greatest movie ever. And
that's going to be a problem because it's not that movie. This is not a movie that's going to make you shy away and be like, oh, well, he just needs help. He's just misunderstood. Let's get him some help because he needs to keep acting. Nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? And, like I said, they definitely could have gone in and set up a whole like exit strategy so they could part ways.
Yep. How do you feel about the messages dealing with his personal life, the messages they threw into the movie? Like after
I caught that. I caught that. It's too little, too late.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because here's the thing. Any of the other stuff that they talk about, all of the stuff that is allegedly, I wasn't there to witness none of that. I actually saw this man choke slam a chick on screen. You know what I'm saying? Like I saw that one. They played that news clip was easy to find. So Ain't no denying that. And he looked like he was a little off at the time. And because whatever she said, and he was like, oh, you wanna fight me? And he came up so unassuming that she was kind of like, what are you doing? Stop. And then next thing you know, she's on the ground, his hands are around her throat. That I witnessed that. So obviously he got some issues going on. All the other stuff that you hear about, the family that was up at the ranch and all the other allegations. I mean, if you get arrested for fighting people, you got arrested for fighting people. So there's obviously witnesses to that. You know what I'm saying?
He broke into somebody's house, all type of crazy stuff.
Yeah, right. You know what I'm saying? If they're doing that type of stuff,
breaking and entering, kidnapping, fucking.
When you get arrested for that,
you're
that's
a villain.
Not something somebody's just making up. You know what I'm saying? Those aren't just allegations. That's stuff that you did. Now, we've been conditioned and trained to say, well, allegedly he this, and allegedly they that, and allegedly she this. No, you got arrested for that stuff. So ain't no like it'll come out what the outcome is, you know what I'm saying? But like you was arrested for that. So obviously some of that stuff is stuff you did.
And like you don't fall in the category of people who like don't be doing the shit that they get arrested for.
Right.
Like they're not playing evidence on the Ezra Millers of the world.
Right.
You did that shit.
Right. And the downside is, of course, this would be a situation, and this is why you have so many people kind of on both sides of it. I won't even say on both sides of the issue. This is why you have so many people who are steadfast in their desire to boycott this film, because people like Ezra Miller in his situation or in their situation do get a pass, and they do get out of it, and it does get buried, and it does go away without them having to deal with real consequences. And if this movie had been successful, if it had been financially successful, because like you take something like Batman v Superman and you say like, here's a movie that on a good day is a 5 movie, but when you look at how much money it made, people are always going to be able to make that argument with it being quote unquote successful. Successful doesn't automatically translate to being good, but the executives, all they care about is successful.
Yeah, that's what's good for them.
And so
they're what their idea of good is not. They're not critiquing art. They're critiquing spreadsheets,
cha-ching,
and portfolios and quarterly earnings. And I get it. Like you need money to make this shit work, but there should be like a balance of like the money focus, but also like creative integrity, the willingness, and then part of that is like the willingness to take risks and not always keep like rehashing and basing all your decisions on like how much money something made. Because we've seen plenty of times in history where like a movie didn't do well in theaters and becomes a cult classic, but because like there was no real like foresight in the studio, like the principles attached like move on and do other stuff, and then by the time you're able to actually like come back and do a sequel, nobody really cares or wants it anymore. And so it's just like you gotta have people who like balance the books 100%, because nothing happens in this industry, in this country, and at this point really in this world anymore without understanding the cost of it. But like the cost of it can't be I think when it comes to the arts, the cost of something being the major decider always is going to inhibit the integrity of the art in the long run.
Yeah.
It's like Quincy Jones said, when money walks in the room, creativity walks out. Because you're not focused on just like getting ideas out. You focused on trying to please people and trying to
get that dollar.
hit quotas and
I mean, we've actually discussed that before about how a lot of times the sequel, even whether it be albums, you know what I'm saying? You have somebody come out with a really good first album. That second album now they're trying to recapture that magic and get back to the thing. And it's not until they have like maybe that third or fourth album after they put out enough hits where people are allowed to be creative, and then they want to go and they want to try something. They want to try to grow as an artist and that sort of thing. You take your movies and you have that first movie, it's unexpectedly successful. And then by the second movie, now they're just trying to recapture those dollars. So they're pushing out all of the writers and they're like, how can we make this more kid friendly? How can we bring in more audience? How do we get women more involved in this? They go from the people who pushing out all of the writers and they're like, how can we bring in more audience? Had a stereo moment. I was like, wait, what? But like you get those situations and the second or third film is all about selling more merchandise, getting in more viewers, and it becomes less about the art. It's less about what got them to that point and more about how they can get that next paycheck.
Better.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like more people involved, you know what I mean? Like that first movie, that script in a lot of ways is a labor of love. They might come in, make a couple changes here and there, but then like once it makes money, the expectation is for it to keep making money. And so then everybody wants to get their hands on it because everybody want to be able to come in and say like, oh, I made it better. It was this when they had it, but like I came in and I added this. I got Vanilla Ice to do the song on Ninja Turtles 2. Or you know what I mean? Like little stuff like that where it's like, okay, but like the movie is shit. You know what I'm saying? And it's shit because of all the changes you guys made to it to like imbue it to some younger audience when you already have a young audience vehicle for the show. And like that's what we talked about before. It's like when your IP doesn't have levels for your customer to grow up in it, then like there's no chance. Like Star Wars is almost like the opposite. It's like they got the stuff for the like nerd adults, but like they've had a hard time like getting like young kids to like watch Star Wars, really. And I think that's why they went so hard with the race stuff, because they were like, yo, we got young girls watching Star Wars. Like that is almost like, you know, the holy grail demographic because they spend the most money. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I could see that.
And I'm not saying that from like an opinion point of view. I'm saying that from like a sitting
Marketing,
in consumer products meetings and them like literally showing us the data that proves that. You know what I mean? So anytime there's a character or a property that can appeal to like the teen tween girl in that market, a market that is like generally like devoid of that customer, they're gonna lean into it heavy and they're gonna get everything out of it that they can get, and then they're gonna at the expense of like everything else, at the expense of Finn, at the expense of who knows who else, you know what I mean? So it kind of just is what it is, unfortunately. But
yeah,
man, this, you know, DC movies, that whole bit, that is something that's very easy to just discuss for the sake of discussion. And DC always gives you talking points, man. Damn, I want them to do a little better about that. I would like the talking points to just be like praise and not always critiques and criticism.
I would too, but when motherfuckers come out talking about Swamp Thing, I'm like, okay, bro.
Hey, it was good. It was good. I'm with him. It was good.
What, Swamp Thing?
Yeah, it was good.
It was a slow burn. It was a slow burn on that TV. That was talking about the TV show, right?
Yeah, I say it didn't deserve to be canceled when it got canceled. There you go.
No, I'm talking about the movie. Ain't that what he doing? Like he doing the Swamp Thing movie, isn't he? James Gunn? In the monsters, the gods and monsters section or whatever.
Oh, that's a cartoon.
Now, animated Swamp Thing is fine.
Yeah.
What they've done with
Harley Quinn.
Oh, that one was hilarious. Everything they've done on Harley Quinn, just leave that alone. I don't want nobody to touch that. Let Kaylee Cuoco continue doing what she's doing over there.
You need a Cuoco verse,
right? You know what I'm saying? Even bringing those people live action. But sometimes I'm at the point everything doesn't even have to be live action. If the shit was good animated, let it stay animated and put that on the big screen.
I want that.
Exactly.
All these other animated movies is coming out here and doing anything. But no, Swamp Thing, Booster Gold, Brave and Bold, Paradise Lost, The Authority, Waller, Creature Commandos, Lanterns, Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, and Superman Legacy slated for July 2025. That'll be the kicking off point. But still this year, we still got Blue Beetle, Aquaman, and Peacemaker. But I think
Peacemaker is not coming out this year. They're pushing it. Yeah, they're pushing it back. They're going to do the Waller series first. And they're considering it, they're calling it like the Peacemaker and a half, like Peacemaker season 1, then you got season and like 1.5, and then season 2. So they're using that Waller series as Peacemaker and a half.
So they pulling a Mandalorian and a Boba Fett.
Yeah,
they're gonna drop Waller in there and then have Peacemaker all in the show. By the middle of the season, Peacemaker hop back in there, be all in the show, and next thing you know, we'll just be like, well, can we just get back to the Peacemaker show? Like, right. We don't even need to do this. Waller was already in the Peacemaker show, so trying to do a whole standalone. And the thing is, it's like with Waller, I'm gonna wait and see how they play this out. But I'm sitting here saying to myself, like, are we gonna see her like in the military, see her get her government job, and then see like who she has to fight off to get control of some?
No. I don't know that it's supposed to be after the season 1. It literally are events that take place after season 1 of Peacemaker.
See, and it's like, if that's the case, then
why? Why would you?
What, if it's not a Waller origin story, what the hell? Like, okay.
And we keeping this Amanda Waller?
Yep,
baby.
See, I mean, like, respect to Viola Davis, like, she's it's like at the end of the day, like, it's a lot of people who, you know, signed up to overall bad project that they thought was going to be a good thing. But until DC is really ready to, like, just, in my opinion, clean house, start over, I don't know when I'm going to be able to trust them.
That won't be. We won't know until July of 2025 whether or not it is officially like starting over. Once James Gunn, because that is honestly the first thing that's coming out in this new universe.
Nope. Blue Beetle. He initially said that. He said Blue Beetle is the first character in this new DCU.
This Blue Beetle is going to cross over.
But no. So, this Blue Beetle, I don't think he has any. He doesn't have any like production credits or.
No, he doesn't. But he said that was his first character. That's his first character in his little universe.
I'm not gonna count it simply because it was already basically made when he took over.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying?
If they were smart though. See, Shazam was trying to be funny and connect their stuff to the DCEU. If they were smart and left Henry Cavill and all them out, it could very well be the beginning character, because as long as he ain't connected to like nobody else that's in the DCEU, who's to say it's not the first one?
Well, The Rock messed that whole situation up. And I know y'all talked about it already.
No, Zack Snyder messed that whole situation up.
Well, the initial part, but as far as Shazam being part of anything, The Rock messed that whole thing up. Because, you know, that's what he was trying to do. He was trying to be the person who take over the DC division of WB. Was Dwayne. He was supposed to try to take over. That's why you notice back when he first started promoting Black Adam, he was saying it's going to be a new hierarchy. And everybody was thinking he was talking about the superheroes, but he was really talking about him trying to take over. And apparently, when they saw Black Adam and they saw how it performed, they was pissed because you know how hard it was for him to get old boy in the movie in the first place, Henry Cavill. He's been trying to get Henry Cavill in that movie for like 4 or 5 years. What I say 2 or 3 years. Not.
Let's see the problem with that, and this really needs to be this is going to be my last DC point because there's other stuff I can talk about. I could go on about this indefinitely, but there was other stuff that happened. The problem with that is it just becomes obvious that like Dwayne Johnson found a character that was big and muscular and said, "Ooh, he has a bald head. I can play him."
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like he read Black Adam comics growing up. I don't feel like he was just a super fan of the character Black Adam. I think it was just something he saw, was able to attach himself to, and figured he could get work with that. If he had any real interest, he would not have been gunning for Superman right off the bat, because Black Adam don't be fighting Superman like that. He really, really don't. Black Adam is and always has been a Shazam villain, and it was sometime later. And of course, when you get into like New 52 and you get into Rebirth, they did change a little bit of Black Adam's story, and now he is, less villain, more anti-hero kind of thing. But even then, Superman is still not the first threat that comes to mind, because it's still the Wizard Shazam and all the mystical powers and that sort of thing. But I do get that Zachary Levi is not in the same physical shape as Black Adam. You know what I'm saying? Shazam don't look like Black Adam looks. And so if you're like, you want to see two superpowers duke it out, maybe you want to get Henry Cavill to duke it out with as opposed to Shazam. That would be the only justification I can make for him, but even that's like not right. So that's why it didn't work.
All right, here's my issue. Wasn't The Rock cast before Zachary Levi? So if The Rock is cast before Zachary Levi, why are we hiring Zachary Levi to play the character who's supposed to be his foe in the first place? Secondly, Rock, you got to understand how superhero stuff works. Villains get introduced through hero movies. You coming straight out the bat and trying to tell us all this Black Adam story, like, it does not work like that. You don't capture the audience like that. I don't think you tell a compelling story that way. But I feel like his ego was very much like, man, I'm not fucking about to be no second billing villain who get beat up. And like he already has a clause in his Fast and Furious contract that he's not going to lose any fights to Vin Diesel. That's why all their fights end in like draws.
Stalemate.
And it's just like, you can't have that kind of, I don't know, man. I don't know what it is with like big stars and just picking bad superhero roles. Like Will Smith, man, you are bigger than Deadshot. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know.
It still comes down, but I still think it's a matter of who you can, how do we say this? It is a very difficult thing at Warner Brothers, I'm sure, and probably even at Marvel, to say like, okay, here's the here's the superhero encyclopedia. We're going to flip through some pages and land on somebody, and we're going to do a movie about that. You know what I'm saying? There has been a few people. And I think the reason I have hope for James Gunn is because I am not even going to pretend like I had heard of the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, hell no.
Before the movie Guardians of the Galaxy. I knew who Nebula was, but only because Nebula is like a major part of the Infinity Saga. Like Nebula has the glove at some point, you know what I'm saying? So it's like that I knew, but Rocket and Groot, Star-Lord, hell, that ain't even the first Star-Lord, you know what I'm saying? Or it's like, that's not even the original Guardians. Of course, the movie comes out, you start going back, or I start going back, doing the research, looking to see who these characters are, checking all the comics and, finding what I can. And it's like, what is this? but these movies are interesting. And so hopefully James Gunn's going to come in and do the same thing with all this other stuff. They have the license, they have the characters, they have everything that's needed to have these successful movies if they can get the right team behind it.
Yep.
Hopefully that's where they are going. If not, then, they'll still be DC Animation. But given that he's now in charge of all of that, fingers crossed. But I do like the idea that the person that's the voice of this is going to be that person in live action, is going to be that person in the game, is going to be that person in the movie. I like that. I like that one person across all media. That is something somewhat different, because that was one of the big complaints we had with like the Avengers game. We'd have had all these movies that made the Avengers hot. Now you put out an Avengers game and you don't even have a likeness or the licensing to have Robert Downey Jr. as the voice. To have
too much money.
Yep.
It does, and that's why the game fell. But if I had been playing,
the game fell because they lied about a lot of stuff.
Well, the game fell because it's not a great game. But if they had at least gotten, I think that little bit could have made the game better. It would have gotten them over some of those issues. People might have stuck around a little. If you could have played Chris Evans' Captain America, if you could have played Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man, if you could have played Chris Hemsworth's Thor, I think that would have added an element to the game that was just clearly missing. There was no connection with these people I'm looking at in this game. Steve Rogers takes that helmet off. Who the fuck is that?
In Square Enix's favor, at least towards the end of it, they made all the stuff that you could buy free. So
true.
So there's that at least.
At least. Okay. You know what? Let's talk more gaming. Let's talk about some gaming stuff. Nintendo.
Yeah.
Nintendo had their June. Well, is it even the June Direct, or is it just the Nintendo Direct in June?
It was the June Direct.
It was the Nintendo Direct that they just happened to have in June.
Okay,
that's really what it was.
Because it's
because I don't think they was planning on having one initially.
No, they were. They just don't tell us until like the day before. Because that's
tomorrow announcing Nintendo's June Direct. Like the thing about these directs now, which is kind of interesting, because whether it be PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo, even the game developers themselves, you know what I'm saying? It's like we don't have E3 anymore.
Right.
And I mean, we're in a different world. It's post-COVID. So they realize
we have E3. They just ain't got no information to give us because ain't nobody going to be there.
Ergo, and the reason they're not going to have any information is because everybody's doing a direct. I mean, literally, there were two things that you could count on every year were going to be a big deal: E3 and the GameStop Expo. Yeah. And the GameStop Expo probably fell off a few years ago, and due to COVID, nobody was doing E3. You know what I'm saying? So they were like, well, we still want to make these announcements. We still got to put this information out. So all the developers started doing their own reveals, and they went right to YouTube with their content. As a result, they've done this now for what? It's been 2 years in a row they've done it like this now. And it's funny because like there's still going to be some companies that probably would have required an E3 in order to make their announcement or their launch, because they're not, if it's not first party, who do you team up with? You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
Like when Street Fighter is going to make their announcement, since they're on multiple platforms, who are they going to team up with? Well, Street Fighter is big enough; they can do their own thing. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, what about those guys who aren't that big and they need that support or that backing from an E3 to make their announcement and have their game announced, to know that they're going to be out and available? Because if you're multi-platform, Xbox ain't going to be like, yeah, we'll carry you, we'll pay for your announcement. You better put some exclusives on our console. You know what I'm saying? Like, it needs to be first launched on Xbox, and then it can come to everything else later. If you don't have deals like that being made, then, these directs is where it's going to be. Yep. But that was a side rant. So Nintendo had their direct today. It was just something I was thinking about. It's just like, hell, man, we don't get nothing. Like, everything is direct now. But Nintendo had their direct, and they made some pretty pretty decent announcements. I think there were the two announcements that I know about, and this is crazy. I didn't even watch the direct, and I already know that we have the RPG and a new side scroller. Mario side scroller.
So check this out. All right. Listen, everybody, listen. Okay, sit down.
Wait.
All right.
There
I
you
want
go.
you to see me. All right, look here. All right. Listen with your eyes. Okay. All right, deaf people, listen. Okay. So Nintendo Direct just happened, right? Guess what happened? A lot of shit. Let's check it out. So what happened? Vampire Survivors coming to the Switch. If you ain't played Vampire Survivors, go ahead and buy it. It's $5. Okay, it's cheap. Hours and hours and hours of entertainment for literally nothing. Just buy it. All right. What else we got? We got Dragon Quest Monsters, The Dark Prince. You like Dragon Quest? You like Pokemon? Boom, done. Both. Okay. I'll get you Lego set in a second. All right. Sonic Superstars. They got a new trailer. Sonic Superstars is the 4-player co-op Sonic the Hedgehog. 2D Sonic the Hedgehog 4-player co-op. It's only local for all we know at the moment, but Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Amy. Boom, done, right? All right, cool.
Okay.
That's coming out at some time this year, this fall. It's coming out this fall.
Now, is that the Superstars?
Sonic Superstars.
Okay.
Dragon Quest is coming out December 1st. And Vampire Survivors port is coming August 17th. So boom, there you go. Batman Arkham Trilogy is coming to Nintendo Switch. So Batman Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, and Arkham Knight. Boom, there you go. All right. Star Ocean, the second story remake, coming to the Switch November 3rd, 2023. So go ahead and get you that. If you like yourself some Star Ocean, play Star Ocean second story. It's great. It's awesome. I'm picking it up. We already knew about it, but Persona 5 is getting a tactics game, Persona 5 Tactica. If you like Fire Emblem, there's Persona Fire Emblem for you. Boom. There you go. That's coming out November 17th. Let's see what else we got. Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope gets another DLC set. That's coming out. Oh, it's out today. Oh, all right. So if you've been playing Sparks of Hope, there you go. You got some more content coming about you. Splatoon 3 is getting its next Splatfest, which is this big like event battle thing that everybody does. Splat Tim. So from July 14th and 16th, you can pick a team. The teams are going to be based on ice cream. You can choose vanilla team, strawberry team, or mint chip team. So if you got Splatoon 3 and you like to battle everybody, go ahead and pick a team and get ready for July 14th.
Vanilla team sounds boring.
No chocolate, huh?
Mint chocolate chip. Boom. There you go. That's your chocolate.
They mix this all together.
For some reason, Just Dance is still a thing. So Just Dance 2024 coming October 24th and will feature 40 songs. I don't have a list. I don't have the list right now, so I ain't worry about it.
Still making that money.
Still making that money. I don't understand how it's been going on this long, but get that bag.
which Just Dance is this? Just they do it by year now.
They do it by year.
Oh yeah, they do it by year now. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not
what
even
else we
like
got?
Just Dance 15. It's just Dance 2023.
We got so we also have Penny's Big Breakaway. So if you liked Sonic Mania, which is literally everybody, the same team that made Sonic Mania is the one that's making Penny's Big Breakaway. Seriously didn't know Just Dance was a thing. I'm telling you, bro. So yeah, Penny's Big Breakaway is gonna be cool. Fae Farm Sim RPG. Do you like Harvest Moon?
Okay,
there you go. Fae Farm done. That's coming out September 8th.
Trying to get a track list. All I can find right now is Dynamite by BTS. I Knew You Were Trouble. Telephone. We Don't Talk About Bruno.
Right.
Are you serious? Oh my god!
All right, cool. So
I didn't even dance to that. I can get karaoke. But...
By the way, I might be forgetting a couple of titles because I didn't realize that the direct was going to be happening at 10 in the morning, and I was asleep. So I just kind of sped through it. Manic Mechanics. Do you like Overcooked? This is Overcooked, but you are a mechanic. Lots of 4-player co-op building cars as fast as possible over treacherous terrain, because why not? That's going to be July 13th. Manic Mechanic. It looks cool.
I was about to say that sounds fun.
It's definitely not Overwatch. I was about to say Overwatch. It's definitely Overcooked. So if you like Overcooked, you're gonna love that one. What else we got? Of course, Mario Kart 8 is getting more DLC content, and you're also getting new characters. So you're along with the new course that you're going to be getting, you're going to be getting PD Piranha, Wiggler, and Kamek, the Magic Koopa. So if you are a PD Piranha fan, or if you are a Wiggler fan, or if you're a Kamek fan, there you go. That's coming out.
There's a joke in there somewhere.
There is a joke in there somewhere. There's a joke in there somewhere. I can't remember. Yeah, I don't know when that's coming out. Sometime this summer. All right. Scarlet and Violet, the hidden treasure of Area Zero expansions. We got a new trailer for that. The first part, which is the teal mask, is coming this fall, and the indigo disc will come in the winter. So if you're playing Pokemon, look forward to that. I sure as hell will be. HD versions of Pikmin 1 and 2 are headed to the Nintendo Switch. I think they're available now. So if you love Pikmin 1 and 2, or if you've never picked up Pikmin 1 and 2, go ahead and pick up Pikmin 1 and 2. And then play 3, and then play 4 when it comes out. Speaking of Pikmin 4, we got a new trailer, and they showed us gameplay. It is Pikmin. It's Pikmin. You know what you're getting into. If you like Pikmin, you're going to buy Pikmin 4. I actually haven't played Pikmin at all. I'm probably going to pick up 1 and 2 at some point. We'll see. But it looks fun. Linda's excited about this one. WarioWare. We're getting a new WarioWare game. WarioWare Move It.
You got to move it.
Got to move it. So 200 micro games. 4 players can play at once. That's coming out November 6th. I think it's online as well. I don't know. We'll see. So yeah, there's that. Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. If you've been playing that, I'm sorry for the time you have lost. I'm in the same boat as you. God, that game is dense. But you're getting amiibos. So in addition to the Link amiibo that came out earlier when the game launched, you're also going to be getting a Zelda and Sexy Ganondorf amiibo. So, have fun with that. I will be picking them up because if I don't get the Ganondorf one, Linda will kill me.
You know what? I actually saw that one on Twitter.
She keeps calling him Gaddy, and I kind of hate it.
And if you're confused, for those of you who might be confused,
you're confused, you got to see this man. You got to see this man, because even I had, like, when they showed us the screenshot, I had to look at it, and I was like, "Damn, all right, shit." Look at that! Look at that! Look at that absolute unit of a man. And they had the audacity to have him bare chested. All right, Linda, settle down. Okay, what else? Metal Gear Solid Collection Volume 1 confirmed for the Nintendo Switch. So, if you like Metal Gear Solid, you're getting Metal Gear Solid 1, 2, Sons of Liberty, Snake Eater. Wait, hold up. Oh, never mind. I thought it was just the first 3 Metal Gear Solid games. No, so you're getting Metal Gear Solid 1, Metal Gear Solid 2, Sons of Liberty, Metal Gear Solid 3, Snake Eater, the very first Metal Gear, and Metal Gear 2, Solid Snake, and Snake's Revenge. So if you like all those NES games, you're getting those as well. I didn't realize that. I didn't pay attention to that trailer. You're getting 6 games. That's coming out October 24th. And if there's a Volume 1, there's definitely going to be a Volume 2. It's probably going to be... of course, Metal Gear Solid 4, 5, maybe Peace Walker, maybe Acid. We don't know.
Apparently, this is supposed to be the first time the Metal Gear Solid 1 is on any system other than PlayStation.
Yes and no. So the original one, yes, but there was a remake for it for the GameCube called the Twin Snakes. So that's technically it's not the first time, but yeah, whatever. Whatever. Detective Pikachu 2 is coming to the Nintendo Switch in October. So everybody that was trying to figure out what happened to that sequel for Detective Pikachu that was supposed to come out like 2 years ago, hey, October 6th. There you go. All right. Okay. And then we have Super Mario Brothers Wonder, which is the brand new 2D Mario game. It looks cool. So, you know, of course you got your Mario, you got Luigi, Peach is back, and you also have Toad, but then we also have a playable Princess Daisy, which is, I don't think she's been in a mainline Mario game ever.
No, I think she's only been in like the party games, right?
She's only been in the party games and the sports games, and she was the princess in Super Mario Land, but we've never had her playable in a mainline Mario game up until now. So that'll be cool. Also, I think you can play as Yoshi too. I think that's the thing.
You play with Yoshi.
Yeah.
Like you know, like how you do normally you ride him.
Yeah, okay.
I don't think he's an actual character.
All right, well that's fine. And then also they showed us the fucking Elephant Mario, and that was weird, and that also sent me into a spiral because if we're getting Elephant Mario, we're also getting Elephant Peach and Daisy, and that concerns me. So I'm a little scared of that. But yeah, so those are all the stuff that, you know, everybody else cares about. Now let's talk about what I fucking care about. Okay, all right. They said they made me listen to this on Donald Glover's internet that we're getting a goddamn remake of Mario RPG. Okay, Super Mario RPG coming for the Switch. When is that date? Give me the date. Hold on one second. November 17th. We're getting a remake of Super Mario RPG. If you've not played Super Mario RPG, I'm gonna need you to evict yourself from the rock you've been living under. Okay. All right. This is if you're under the age of 20, listen. Yeah. Deaf people, listen. Blind people, look at me. All right. You need this game. You need to play this game. Gino's in this game. Sam, pull up the video. Thank you. Play the clip. God damn it. See, now that this is a thing now, Gino has a better chance of being in the next Smash if they ever do another one. Look at that. Look
like how you say if. That's cute. That's cute.
If. I'm cautiously optimistic because I after what they pulled with Ultimate, we never seen another Smash game in this lifetime. Look at it. Look at this. Look at this absolute classic. All right. So if you never played this is the very first Super Mario RPG, like literally the first RPG that came out for the Super Mario franchise. If you haven't played this game and you are over the age of 25, you're doing yourself a disservice and you need to go ahead and correct that shit. Which is funny because I believe you could play the original on Nintendo Switch Online.
Nope.
No? Okay, never mind. I was mistaken. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about what I just said right here. Don't worry about that. Buy this. Okay? You see that dapper fellow in the blue hat and cloak? That's Gino. That's your best friend. You need that. All right? Peach is playable. Bowser's playable. You got this cloud dude that shoots lightning. You got a doll that came to life. Okay? Look at this. Buy the game.
And the fact that it's actually like coming on this, like the graphics have been tremendously upgraded. There's a whole comparison showing this gameplay along with the original gameplay.
Yeah.
And it's just like, just for the improved graphics, it's worth it.
Yeah, it's worth it because it's a good game. It's a really good game. That game holds up so well even now. And now that we got a remaster, you don't have an excuse. You have no excuse.
All right, Dave, you know more about this than I do. Why did it take so long for them to even try to come out with like just the port over?
So
was it something with the licensing or something?
Yes. So because of the fact that this game is a joint project between Square Enix, well, first it was Squaresoft, but now Square Enix and Nintendo. And technically, Nintendo owns the rights, but because there are Final Fantasy-esque characters in the game, the licensing issue is kind of a weird situation there. But it looks like they got that sorted out. So, November 17th, go ahead and buy that game. I'm getting it. I'm full stop. Get the game. It's good.
I'm mad. I was supposed to go reserve it today. I forgot.
Man. Hey, you got time. You got time between now and the 17th of November. So I don't care what nobody say. That was the highlight of the goddamn direct. I don't give a damn what anybody says, because what's this? Is this Mario Brothers Wonder? Nah, get that shit out of here. Pikachu, the Detective Pikachu? Nah, bro, get that shit out of here. I don't give a fuck about that.
You don't care about the Detective Pikachu?
Okay, well, according to my marriage contract, I have to care about Detective Pikachu, so I'll take that back. Okay. Okay. So Nintendo Direct was amazing. It was great. Buy Super Mario RPG. Mario Kart's getting more stuff. So we're never. Oh wait, I forgot. There was one more thing. Damn, two more things actually. Princess Peach is getting another game. We don't know what the name of it is. She's getting another game. It's gonna be great because Super Princess Peach was a banger and nobody talks about it, and that makes me sad. And we're getting a remaster of Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, which was the 3DS game. Yeah, so Luigi's Mansion 2, we're getting a remaster. And that's going to be dope because it's Luigi's Mansion. You can't really go wrong. But yeah, I think that's it. Like I said, I might be missing something because I just didn't.
I think you definitely hit on more than I had notes for.
Yeah.
Let me see. I'm pretty sure you did. I'm pretty sure you got everything.
I'm fairly confident I missed like a couple of titles, but they're like smaller indie titles, I think. Actually, let me look it up real quick.
I was gonna say anything that mattered, but yeah.
Wow. Wow.
I mean, that's kind of. I was like, why he's looking that up? We're gonna talk about this Vampire Survivors.
Vampire Survivors is a fucking banger, dude.
This game has me in the headlock so badly.
Yeah, man.
And not only, like, when I tell you, I did not know that this game was damn near available on everything.
Everything.
And
it's so good. It's so simple, but it's so good. It's $5. And like they update this game constantly.
There's DLC out for it.
DLC is like $2.
It is great. And it's got enough of a challenge to be continuously.
Oh shit, that's co-op. Oh fuck, I didn't even realize. Damn. Okay, yeah, that game got even better.
Cause that right there, let me tell you something. Upgrade them daggers.
Yes, sir.
Son, them daggers, that whip, and I enjoy that game so much.
It's so good. It's so simple, but it's so good for no reason.
And there was one question that came up earlier. Since we were talking about games, I'll throw it in there. It's an oldie but goodie. Corey asked, thoughts on Ghost of Tsushima? Yes.
Of Tsushima? Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
It's so good.
It. Those are my thoughts. Yes. Oh, yes. If you don't own it,
you should do that.
If you don't own it, get it. It's good on all platforms, every version. Because Ghost of Tsushima was originally available on PS4. Did they do that was one of those titles that had the like the $10 upgrade for the PS5.
Yeah.
And so, however you have it, it's worth it. But I mean, it was worth it on my PS4. So that would definitely be one.
Yes.
So we got the Nintendo Direct. There was a lot of cool stuff happening out there. And Headbangers Rhythm Royale. I think that was one of the other ones, one of those like miscellaneous titles.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I know.
And something. You did mention Fae Farm and Silent Hope. I don't know what that is. But there is was this Breakaway? I'm gonna click on this.
Penny's Big Breakaway. Yeah, that's.
You did mention that.
I did talk about that.
Yeah,
that looks like a game.
And yeah, a lot of stuff there. I'm impressed though, because like I'm not even like a huge Nintendo fan. Because I feel like most of what's good for Nintendo is all first party. Um, and they would be one of those things like, oh, you buy the console because you want to play this game. Like I would buy a PS5 simply to play God of War. You know what I'm saying? I would buy a PS5 to play that Spider-Man game. You know what I'm saying? To play Spider-Man. Typically, like I don't know that I would buy a Switch to play some of these titles. But even I had heard about the Mario RPG and the Wario and the Super Mario Wonder. Those three right there. Now, the fact that they're going to have stuff like the Arkham trilogy, that means I have other stuff to play that I know is good. You know what I'm saying? In case I get this game and it's like, oh, this is too kiddie. Oh, this is not really my thing. I still have stuff like Arkham to play. And because of that, there's going to be, ways to remain entertained. But I am very interested in all of the stuff that they have. Oh, I didn't want to replay that. I want to go to the next thing, which was this one. And I want to see, I'm curious, like they announced it's coming. I want to know what it's going to look like. Because this is the Arkham series on the Switch. And of course, I'm just thinking to myself, like,
so here's the surprising thing. Like, here's what I find surprising about this in particular, and I guess to an extent, Metal Gear Solid. This isn't a cloud version, or they haven't announced that this is a cloud version. So for something like Batman, like the Arkham series, I would imagine, I would like, my instinct would be like they're gonna make this a cloud version, because they did that with Kingdom Hearts, they did that with a couple like almost all of the Resident Evil games they put on there. And they said nothing about doing it for Batman or for Metal Gear, which is, I'm shocked, to be completely honest, because like admittedly the Switch is a fucking potato. It's a potato. It barely, like, all the games that run on this system, like Nier Automata runs on this system, and the fact that that game can run on the Switch is nothing short of a miracle. Because that game is demanding.
Are you talking about Batman?
No, Nier Automata.
No.
And then it also can run The Witcher 3, which again, the fact that that game runs at all on the Switch, miracle. It's,
well, I mean,
like,
the Batman was on the Wii U, so
it was on the Wii U, yes. So like, but it's more so because they're including all of these games in there, and in their respective DLCs.
yeah.
That was the thing that impressed me, like having all the game plus all DLC.
That's a lot of game. Also, they didn't make any mention of Arkham Origins, which is also a weird thing. I would imagine that would just be in there, but hey,
I mean, you get the main story.
You get the main story, yeah, but there's Origins, it's whatever. But yeah, it's. I'm happy that some of the developers are trying to stray away from the cloud gaming aspect of that. I'm just waiting for Capcom to stop doing that with Resident Evil. Like, just put the game on the Switch, or don't. Stop doing this in between thing, because like you have to have a decent internet connection to even run the shit. So like, if you're living in the middle of bumfuck Georgia, I'm sorry, you're not playing Kingdom Hearts. Buy a PlayStation. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So it's just something that I found funny. Yeah,
I think it's funny when you make that internet comment, and it's just like, I think back when the Xbox One was first announced and the uproar that people were in, thinking about like getting an all digital console and having internet connection required and this and that, and it was just like people were not here for it. They were not going for it, and a lot of people will if they're being honest with themselves, they'll cite that as the day that they made their switch to PlayStation.
I know.
Because, like, when we go back and you look at it, between the Xbox 360 and like the PlayStation 3, Xbox 360 kind of was like they were winning that war at the time. PlayStation 3 was always $1 late, a day late and $1 short for a long time. And then when the Xbox One came out and the PlayStation 4 came out, everybody started kind of like leaning a little bit more PS4, of course, because they had slightly better exclusives. And Xbox One held up for a while. But then as they got to talking about how, that was when Microsoft, when they made that announcement for the Xbox One, I remember they were saying you were going to have internet. You were going to have an internet connection in order to be able to log in and this and that. And people are like, that's, I don't want that. You shouldn't have to require that. Now, the biggest selling games out there are all the free-to-play multiplayer games that you play online. And it's just like Microsoft was almost ahead of its time. And when they announced the things that they announced and said the things that they said that they were going to do, to watch that come to fruition later and Sony be able to capitalize on that, it's just funny to me. And now seeing, Nintendo come as they always do. And Nintendo has its own brand, like its own brand of loyalty. People who are Nintendo fans are Nintendo fans regardless of what else they do, regardless of what else they own.
So there's a double-edged sword on the Nintendo fan comment, because like Nintendo fans, and this is me included, because I am a Nintendo fan. Like the NES was my first system, but damn, Nintendo fans hate Nintendo, and Nintendo hate Nintendo's fans, man. I swear, dog. Like it is such an abusive relationship.
Oh, absolutely.
It's so abusive.
Absolutely. And yet,
is that like worldwide, or is that like American?
Worldwide.
No, it's
everywhere. Like it's almost like begrudgingly, like, fine, fucking take my money, but like I fucking hate you. God damn it. Because like, how many times are you going to shut down Melee tournaments because you want us to buy the new thing? How many times are you going to like ruin somebody's life because they wanted to distribute ROMs that you don't sell anymore? There's that. There it is. I'm not gonna rant too much about that, because like I could go on and on about how much I love and hate Nintendo with a burning passion of 1,000 suns.
Yeah, those Nintendo cease and desist are legendary, man.
Legendary. Like this man got to pay like 30% of his paycheck for the rest of his life now. Like, good lord.
Messed up. You let Nintendo catch him. Now you got to keep running when you mess with Nintendo. You got to keep moving.
You can't. Like once they deploy the Nintendo ninjas, that's it for you. They will find you. And people kept saying that some of us was crazy saying that Nintendo got ninjas. They do. Them motherfuckers are real.
And it becomes less about.
Huh?
There's earlier you were talking about we were going through some of the games and you let slip Overwatch.
I did let slip Overwatch.
And I think Overwatch might be on your mind.
It is.
Is there something you want to tell us about Overwatch, or let the people know about the
so
Overwatch?
Let me preface this by saying that fuck Activision Blizzard, okay? Like, no,
we've kind of been there. We've kind of been there for a while.
They've Activision Blizzard been on some bullshit for a while. If you don't know what's going on with Activision Blizzard, again, evict yourself from the rock you've been living under. But Activision Blizzard, along with Ezra Miller, have been acting like actual supervillains. Like they have been conducting. They had a chat room called the Cosby Room. They bullied a woman so hard that she killed herself. Somebody stole breast milk out of the employee lounge and drank it like on some Homelander shit. It's a weird thing over there at Activision Blizzard. But we ain't talk about them as a whole. We talk about Overwatch, right? Okay. So Overwatch came out. I forget when Overwatch came out, but it came out. It was pretty good. 6v6. Just PvP. Got a couple of PvE situations going on because we got to keep the players invested in stuff. But it was a decent PvP experience. Of course, with every game like that, you're gonna have toxic players, which made up a lot of the community. But it is what it is. The game itself was pretty good. And then they announced Overwatch 2. And everybody was excited because they said they were going to do all this new shit. We're rebalancing all the characters. We're going to get rid of one tank. So it's going to be 5v5. But in exchange, what we're going to do is you remember that story that we keep fleshing out when we release characters and shit? Like that whole extended universe of Overwatch? Yeah, we're going to do a story mode in Overwatch 2. It's going to be, you're going to have you could play co-op with your friends. You can level up your characters. There's going to be skill trees. It's going to be great, right?
Yeah.
A couple months ago, they said, JK, LOL, we haven't been working on that, so we're just not going to release it. Our bad. But here's the new season pass. And that went about as well as you think it would. Nobody liked that. Everybody did.
I don't know shit about games, and I know I would be mad if that shit happened.
Yeah. Because outside of it's Overwatch 2 is just more Overwatch. We're just going to be doing the PvP shit all over again. But the main draw, the selling point of Overwatch 2 was the fucking story mode and the skill trees and shit.
Yeah.
So
why they give you these little? They give you, and for those of you who aren't absolutely familiar, you get these little clips. Like when you go and you select a character. For when Overwatch 2 came out, I was like, oh, who's this character? She seems cool. Started playing Junker Queen. And there's this 10-minute side clip of her rise to power in a little tournament thing and how she becomes Junker Queen.
Right.
And it's like, you want to know that story. Like in the first one, when Winston was a baby and how he grew up in this world, and there was obviously some war that took place. Why are these people fighting?
Right.
Some people like single player campaign story stuff. Everything doesn't have to be PvP.
Right.
And just multiplayer. I was absolutely looking forward to that.
Yeah. So now everybody in the community is just like, okay, so now we just have Overwatch 1.5 and you just took away a tank now. So what was the point? And we can't even play the original Overwatch now because they just nuked the servers for that. So you have no choice but to play Overwatch 2. And Overwatch 2 sucks. It's ass. Okay.
In comparison,
it sucks. But that's not even the worst part. So now they're talking. So remember when I said before in Overwatch 1, you had your seasonal PvE events. You had the Rise of Junkenstein. You had the Omnic Invasion story thing, the Origins, whatever, right? So they're like, okay, so we're not going to do the full-fledged story mode thing that we were talking about, but we're going to give more seasonal events, but you can also pay us $15 and you don't have to lose that. So with the seasonal events, you for a time frame, you can play this specific mode and then it goes away. You pay the $15, you don't have, it doesn't go away for you. You can keep playing it. And you can
sounds stupid.
It is, yeah, and it's you they're framing it you can play this mode all the time, all you want, you can grind it out. But here's the problem: why are we grinding it out? There's no skill trees, there's no reward for that. Why the hell would I pay $15 to do that? Why are y'all doing this? Y'all really try to set us up for the okie doke like all of us are just stupid, right? So now you got this broken mess of a game that just doesn't feel good to play, and you're trying to shove a $15 story mode pack for story missions that don't even fucking matter. what's the point? What's the point?
Money.
Like y'all are too busy stealing breast milk that y'all couldn't even work on the fucking game. Was it that good?
Cue the scene from The Boys,
Right?
The one where Homelander starts.
Yeah, he's like, just, yeah, no. Why? Why? I wanted so hard to love Overwatch 2 because I really loved Overwatch 1. And despite the fact that Activision Blizzard is just full of fucking assholes, right? And I don't want to give them money. So fortunately, Overwatch 2 is free to play. That's like the one good thing that's got going for them. You don't have to pay money to play the fucking game. But all this time, y'all announced the fucking story shit like fucking 4 or 5 years ago. What the hell were y'all doing for 5 years?
Honestly, making more story for part 1.
It was really supposed to be a thing because I was always wanting to know what Winston's story was.
I wanted to know like how the fuck did Soldier 76 find out he was fucking bi or whatever the fuck he is right now? Like, you know, why is Zentrea like the leader of Null Sector? Why is he here? What's going on with this? What's going on with Doomfist and the rest of Talon? Like, what the fuck's going on? I want to know that shit, but I can't because they just decided, oopsie whoopsie, we didn't work on the story stuff. We made a big fuck a boingo. Oops. Please buy our seasonal stuff for $15. You also get the season pass because you know you want to do that. Oh my god, the fucking season pass. I just realized that shit.
And you say they were busy?
Yeah, yeah.
They were occupied. Something kept them from
right. God, yeah. It had to be. But now I just reminded myself of something too. I'm mad at that too. So like it's free to play, but like the new characters that have been coming out have been locked behind the battle passes and shit. But nobody wants to play that shit. No one realistically wants to play this fucking game anymore because you guys lied for 5 years. I don't understand the logic behind selling this game as this grand story in endeavor, but ain't shit been worked on for 5 years. You know what happens when you don't do your job for 5 years? You get fired. You might get cut. Like fired, cut. They might jump you in the parking lot for 5 years, and they find that you ain't did shit. People have been fired for less. But y'all too busy drinking breast milk and bullying people, so you know it's whatever. I don't get it. It's fine. Y'all just want to be weird instead of providing the product that you promised.
Yeah, I think that's really what they just messed up on. I don't understand.
I don't understand. But you know what? It's fine because it's fine. They said we got Diablo 4. You can play that, and that works, right? Yeah.
Until Microsoft take it away.
And that deal's not even going to go through. Like I was waiting for that deal to go through so they could get like the head fuckwad that was, you know, that's in charge of Activision Blizzard, Mr. Bobby Kotick. So once that deal goes through, he's gone. But at the same time, ain't shit going on with that deal because it keeps getting blocked. So it's gone. It's over with.
Yeah, I think it's stalled.
Yeah. It's not happening. So I don't know what they're doing over there. They're not working on the game. I know that much. I know they're not working on it.
They're not working on the game.
No fucking way.
Doing everything but that.
They do it everything except working on the goddamn game. But you know, I don't know. I don't get paid enough to make those decisions, I guess.
The problem is
just here.
I'm just here. I just play video games, man.
No. As with anything, the problem is enough people got Overwatch 2
under
the pretense that something was going to happen. So they've already made that money.
Yeah.
If they don't do, you know what I'm saying? And honestly, like there's a whole discussion. In fact, I think that's a discussion we're gonna have one night. We're gonna talk about like the gaming industry, DLC, complete games, and the whole nine. Because the other day we were talking about a game that came out, and all of that was like on disc. Street Fighter 6 is a complete game.
Street Fighter Cross Tekken had all the DLC on the disc, and you had to pay for that shit.
You know what I'm saying? And so it's like it would be. I understand, and I like the idea of having a game come out, the game be good, be a complete game, and then sometime later you can introduce new material to the game to keep the game alive, to keep the game interesting or fun. And then at some point later, you can introduce more material to expand the lore. It does start to get a little questionable when you have something like, for example, Destiny. Right. And so for a long time, Destiny was my jam. Not gonna lie. Got every one of the DLCs. And when I go back and I look at it in retrospect, Destiny, the core game Destiny is free to play. They have now made Destiny 2 free to play. You can just go and you can get Destiny 2. But after you get Destiny 2, to actually do anything in the game, you have to buy
the equivalence of two versions of the game when they first came out.
Yeah.
Like 6 other DLCs.
Some of that shit you can't even play anymore because they vaulted the motherfucker.
You know, and it's like, I understand and I appreciate adding to the lore and continuing the story, but if you are adding stuff to an existing game, why am I paying full fucking price for the DLC? That should be Destiny 3. That should be Destiny 4. Take more time, develop it out further, make a complete game. You know, and it's like, honestly, I believe that's why you have games like Apex Legends and Fortnite and Warzone even that are just taking over all these free to play games. Where if I'm going to spend, like, honestly, when I look at something like that, if I see a kid who is like spent $30 on their character in Fortnite, I'm not mad at that. They're gonna have my nephew has a PS5 and he plays Fortnite, and I'm just like, I want to body slam my brother-in-law and my sister because I'm like, y'all got him a PS5 and all he plays Fortnite. Okay, you know what? It's cool. Yeah. It's cool. You know, he a kid. He don't know no better. But you know what I'm saying? At the same time, it's like when he goes and he gets those PlayStation dollars to buy stuff in game, like the game he's playing is free. Fortnite is free. Yep. So any money he spends on that game, he's still well under what I paid to play damn near any game I got. You know what I'm saying? And even as it stands right now, I'm looking at it, I'm like, damn, I want to get Street Fighter and I want to get Diablo. That's like $150 for 2 games now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because these games are no longer, you know, it used to be a thing, $59.99. And it was like after tax, you look $64.19. I'm kind of like, I found myself browsing the pre-owned section now and be like, I know it's only been out for 2 days, but has anybody traded in a copy?
By the way, you should buy Street Fighter 6. It's really good, and it's a great starting point for people who are trying to get into fighting games. Just putting it out there anyway. Shameless plug. Anyway,
shameless plug. I mean, you know what? I'm gonna take it a step further. Say, go back and watch our video on Street Fighter 6.
Yeah.
They gave us all of the steps, all of the info, and I have been seeing a lot of people. There was something that was tweeted recently. It's this old couple that are like hardcore gamers.
Oh my god, I love them so much.
I told you I'd be lurking hard on Twitter. I don't tweet much, but I like tweets. I retweet, and you know I just be scrolling through.
We don't deserve that old Japanese couple. They're so fucking wholesome. They're so
and it's
wholesome.
like with the show.
No, I didn't mean to disrupt the conversation.
No,
talking about the old Japanese conversation,
right? The old so the damn, look at that. But yeah, like, you know, he's playing Street Fighter, and you know, they talk about how like he's never really been into fighting games and whatnot. But you're watching him, and you can like see his advancement and see that he's doing really well with this, especially given that it has the different fighting modes in the game, so that for people who are not super advanced, they're able to come in and still be able to enjoy the game against your more hardcore people who are going to play the game and be like, oh, that's a what is it? That's a 6.54 high punch. You know what I'm saying? Or hard punch.
And he almost got the numpad notation. He was so.
I was like, you know what I'm saying?
You were close.
It's like you know what I'm saying. Well, I know something like what is it? A
actually,
0.36.
You did just do a that was a charge motion. So I Sam, I see you.
Okay, you see what I'm saying? So like I'm trying to attend fight school. I'm trying to attend fight school. Yeah. But you know what I'm saying? It's like watching these people, and of course that makes me lean into like
I love it.
I really want to get into like I really want to play the Street Fighter. You know what I'm saying? There's a story mode, and it's like I'm watching people talk about their story mode, their created characters in Street Fighter. And I'm looking at this and I'm like, that looks corny as hell, but damn, it looks fun.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It does look corny. I played it for a minute. I was like,
But as I watch these people go a little further, it just looks like it gets to just be really, really fun though.
See, here's the thing about it is like if you don't want to play World Tour mode, you don't have to play World Tour mode. That's like 30% of the game, but you got another like got another 70% of the game that you can go through. Like there's Battle Hub, there's arcade mode, there's extreme battles. You just do regular old rank and casual matches. You got a bunch of shit that you can do in Street Fighter 6 without even touching fucking World Tour mode. And it's great. It's awesome. And there's the one more thing that I'm gonna say about it, and then I gotta dip out. But Street Fighter 6, it's doing a thing that I've been asking for a long time, and it's just to make fighting games more accessible to the everyday consumer, because it's no secret that like fighting games are not funded by the hardcore players. It is funded by the regular dudes, like the guy, like it's funded by like, you know, my uncle who just wants to play like arcade mode 30 minutes after work or something, or like the one girl who's just trying to like, she just wants to play it because Chun-Li is cute. Those are the people that actually fund these games, and to make it easier for them to play is the best shit ever. Because oh shit, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. I lost my train of thought looking at that.
I wanted to like, let me just I want to take nothing away from that.
Right.
Okay, Jeff. Okay.
I see you. All right. But yeah, no, because now you have your classic controls where you're just doing your standard motion inputs, like your quarter circle forwards, your full 360s, your half circles, all that good stuff, right? But you also have casual controls where you can just press a button and Ryu will just do the Hadoken. Or you could just press a button and forward, and Ken will do the Shoryu Repa or something, or some shit like that. Or you could press down and the special button, and Chun-Li will do the spinning bird kick. And these are viable play styles, because if you just climb the rank ladder, you have people that are in platinum and diamond ranks who are using modern controls. Even with the fact that you lose about half of your moveset and you do 20% less damage. But those are the people that know how to play neutral better than most people. So as long as you got a good footsies game, you can make modern work. As evidenced by like the pros that are playing, like Justin Wong's playing modern, Tokido's playing modern. Goddamn, I think Levin's playing modern on that. I think he's playing Street Fighter 6. But yeah, no, like a bunch of pro players are adopting modern controls, and that should speak volumes for anybody trying to get into these kind of games, especially Street Fighter 6. Like, it's okay if you just want to use modern controls and just scrub it out, because at the end of the day, you're learning. You're still learning the game, because you're learning the most important part of that game, which is the neutral game, which is the footsies. You got to know how to get in first before you can do all the flashy shit. So
the footsies part of it is the being able to like get in and get out.
Yeah, footsies is neutral. Yeah, footsies is a neutral game. So like nobody's at a clear disadvantage or advantage. Everybody's just trying to feel it out. That's what that is. So I say all that to say that if you really wanted to get into fighting games, now is the perfect time. An even better time would have been yesterday. So yeah. But that's it for me. Good, you guys. Good talking to you. I'm about to dip out and go watch the rest of this Jared Fogle documentary because I hate myself. And you guys take care. I'm out of here.
Probably have some Subway tomorrow in your honor, man.
Man, don't do that. All right, man. Y'all take it easy.
All right.
Follow me on everything. Heroic Cat on everything. I'm out.
I have, man. We'll holla at you.
Right.
Sir.
Yeah, we're right behind him, man. One more time though. One time for the one time. Let me throw this up there because y'all really. Oh, damn, my bad. I ain't mean to.
He just wanted to cover me. It's okay.
Look, there's better. I covered me now. Okay, I'm good with it. I can be covered. But I just wanted to highlight that once again. Now, this one's going to be available on your website as well.
I think what I'm doing is I'm gonna just auction off all the originals. I don't know if I want to do prints because I'm just like. Just auction off the originals, man. I'm doing enough of them, and I don't know. I'm trying to focus on creating like more stuff that means something and less stuff that's just like overproduced. If I want to overproduce, I'll put on a t-shirt. Like the last ones I did, they're on shirts. So you can go to my website, apnt17.com. As seen here, this is the Bishop font logo T. So Bishop from X-Men. Anybody who really knows me knows that was my first comic ever. Bishop's first appearance in X-Men. So yeah, I just put up a bunch of logo tees that are like flips of different logos that I like Star Trek, X-Men, all that stuff. And then I have like the Hobie shirt up. I have the Miles and Hobie fist bump shirt up there as well, and some other stuff. But I think when it comes to like the actual art, I'm just gonna like make singles, and
this image puts me in the mind. I see it and I feel I don't want to speak on your behalf, but I see this and I get Stankonia vibes from it, and I love it. You know what I'm saying?
The Outcast reference that I use for the photo.
Yeah, and it's like instead of having this little bit here with the hands, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
he's holding the guitar instead, and it's like, yeah, I'm liking that. I think I like that one more than the fist bump in the Hobie by itself one. This might be the one. Okay. I gotta hit the website.
I won't even put it up.
Yeah, I'm like this might be the one. Let me see. I gotta. Okay, so I can move this stuff right here down and go right there. It'll fit. I can make it fit. All right, man. So that's gonna be our show. That's gonna do it for us tonight. I want to thank everybody who was a part of our conversation. Looks like we had maybe some new viewers tonight. I know we had some new chatters tonight, so shout out to them. DJ Fast Snacks, appreciate you being on, man. Thank you for your comments and your insight. And when we do get around, when we come back, remember after the Flash premieres on Max, we will come back and do a full on spoiler review and discuss it at that time, as more people will have watched it, and we will get our resident Flash expert. You can check her out. She was on our therapy session for Flash. She was on our therapy video for the Flash. We'll bring her back. That was Christina.
Yeah, Christina.
So go check out that episode of the Flash. She made some really, really good points, and we covered some of that again in Justice League. I think up next we have we've got a Why Did I Watch That scheduled, and we got a fan casted scheduled. So one of those two events will be next. I got to reach out to Todd, check his schedule. That will determine whether it's going to be a Why Did I Watch That or a Fancast It. But that is us for tonight. We appreciate everybody who was a part, everybody who watched the show. Be sure to click that QR code right there so you can find us on everywhere we are. Find us on all our social medias. Like and subscribe to the videos and be a part of these conversations. We have a great time doing it and want you to enjoy it with us. For DJ Fat Snacks, Jeffrey, JPNT17, and myself, Elder Geek Sam, we are out of here. Peace.
Peace.